But anyway, this garden has it all. You're planting for the sun, get the tall stuff behind everything else so they're not blocking sun, and then rotation. You know, the garlic and the zucchini squash will be the rotation in this particular bed. Hey, welcome back. Today we're talking about getting your 2023 garden ready, planting it. They're in the winter. You might as well get started. I'm sitting here in a cornfield. Well, it will be. The number one thing about planting, of course, is know where the sun's going to be. So we're going to put corn here. Sunshine. Obviously, you need to know where the sun is. There's a stump back here. That was a dogwood that we had to cut down because of the, it died. It didn't come back in the spring, so we cut it down and it opened up the canopy right here so we can put our corn in. Ironically, we had the chicken pen here most of last summer, so it's already treated with manure. We just need to take the top off, not really till it, just cultivate it and scrape off the grass and weeds and get it ready. Also going to surround it with some black mat so we don't have to worry about weeding around the edge of the garden itself. But this will be a new addition. We've never grown anything in this spot, but now we have the sun. It's on the north side, so it's a good spot for growing corn. Another new addition is this greenhouse. This will let us get things started earlier, and it will also let us prolong the season come next fall. In fact, I'm trying to get some stuff going to see if I can grow it in here over the winter. You see a greenhouse in a greenhouse. I actually borrowed that idea from some folk I follow in Alaska. They build tunnels and tunnels. Get up in there, it's like a little hobbit house, but get in there and they got lettuce, carrots, radish, all that kind of stuff. It's pretty cool, really. So I thought I would try it. We'll see if it'll work. Actually, I do have choy that's germinated on that top rack there. And two things, those water bottles. Now you can paint them black to get the solar energy. I've been filling them up with hot water from the kitchen and sticking them in here in the evening. And so far, one night it got down to 27. And when I checked it early morning, it was right at 31.8 in here. But the bags, they didn't have any dew, frost, anything like that on them. So far, so good. Now, as far as beginning the year and ending the year, I also checked. We had some 60-degree days, so I tightened this up, and it got up over 90 in here. Very warm. So I'm thinking that will work too, as far as, we'll probably still start them inside, but then move them out here quicker and let them get adapted to the outside. This has some flaps on the side, so you can open it up and get wind flowing through here. So this is a new addition. Obviously, if you don't have the space to do a full walk-in, you can still do that little stand-up unit and stick it up against your house. I highly recommend that. You're going to pick up some heat off the wall, particularly if they're brick walls. But you know, those things, those stand-ups are not a budget buster. Even this one wasn't that much. I think it was 130 bucks, and it's one of those accordion things that just expands, just like you would a regular canopy, but it has this top on it instead. And this material does work. Like I said, we had it was a couple of days actually. We had 60 degrees outside, and it was over 90 in here. I guess the one thing I got to be concerned about is too much humidity. But we've got these flaps we can open up. It's pretty cool. This again, these two spots, that corn behind the camera and this greenhouse, these are new additions to our north garden. All right, this is our baby. This is the original garden. It's the north garden because this is the north side. In fact, the corner off my shoulder over here is due north. So this is our sunniest spot, spring, summer, early fall. And we've been gardening this spot since spring of 2004. We've grown a lot of stuff here, so we know this spot well. And in addition to sun, we've done a lot of crop rotation here. So we'll start off in this back corner. You see garlic coming in, and When that's harvested out in July, June or July, it will be replaced with zucchini squash, hopefully getting past the squash bug cycle so we don't have to deal with that. And so the plan is when the squash is done in the end of the summer, fall, we will then put garlic back in for 2024. Right, so that's part of planning too, of course, is you want to rotate and use your space as much as possible. You'll also see off the edge there's a dead rosemary, but I got a replacement for it already in a pot. So that one were cuttings from a plant that was originally purchased in 2018. So, it had a good 5-year run, and now it's time to move on. Okay, so on the north side, we're growing pole beans here, and of course, when you're planting, you want your tallest things to be furthest north. So that's the north trench in this bed. Got 3 T-posts in there and an old trellis fabricated out of different things in the yard. And we'll grow the Blue Lake pole beans there. By the way, you'll see a little white container with glass on it. I'm trying to germinate, this is December, I'm trying to germinate some radish outside, not in that grow tent, just an experiment to see if I can do it. So far they haven't hit. I'll probably give another 5 or 6 days, and then if not, by then I'll probably just give up on that. Anyway, under that white container there is oregano. That's going to be an oregano bed. There's one plant in there. I have another one to add that I started last year from seed, and on the other end of that bed is lemon thyme, which that lemon thyme dates to 2018 as well. It's loving life in that corner, so I'm leaving it alone. Now, so we've got the corn that we're growing enough to put up, we've got the beans that we're growing enough to put up, and then this portion here adjacent to that greenhouse, that is our tomato paste bed. We'll have 10 in there, hopefully Plum Regals, F1s, great tomato by the way. So this side here will have the beans and the tomatoes. That's for putting stuff up. Of course the garlic too. We're not growing so much garlic this year because we grew a lot last year. We have enough powder to last us 3 or 5 years. So that's part of planting too. You don't want to plant more than you need, of course. And then this bed, that's an auxiliary bed. There'll be some speckled Romans in there. Right now there's a few onions coming up. There's some leek seeds on the edge. So we'll have 2 speckled Roman in there, and either 2 more speckled Roman or some eggplant just to get some variety in this garden. But anyway, this garden has it all. You're planting for the sun, get the tall stuff behind everything else so they're not blocking sun, and then rotation. The garlic and the zucchini squash will be the rotation in this particular bed. And I might, at the end of the year, after we get done with the tomatoes, the paste and tomatoes, I may run some collard greens in there so we have some collards next fall and winter. Well, thanks for your time. Hope you enjoyed it. Lay down some questions and comments. Subscribe if you have not done so already. And we'll see you on the next one. This is part 1. There'll be a second part. There'll eventually be a playlist here. If you're watching it later, it's already there, so click it. Boom. Peace, y'all.